What's up, everyone? We are at Winthrop Arena out in Rock Hill, South Carolina, out here at the USDGC for 2021. I am so excited, so grateful to be here. This is one of the best times of year in this area of the country. Let's break it down. This is my In the Bag 2021 USDGC edition, brought to you by Innova Champion Discs. So first I'll go to the putters. My main putters are the KC Pro AVR, big bead. Now, a lot of guys gave me some gripe online I saw recently about some F2s. These are given to me by a friend, James Litchfield, out of Idaho, and he sent me a bunch of them. They just have a really great feel. This is actually the putter I won the World Championships with. So I have a nice little stack of them and pulling out a new one for this week. Another favorite, the orangey with the 2015 Majestic bottom stamp. I just love this, just got a great feel. Good height out of the hand. You know, this is one that I can pop up and it'll ride and have a nice gentle finish. So here's my Glow KC AVR from 2011, End of the Trail Classic. It's a nice, a little bit flatter. Being that it's 171, I can loft this up in the air a little bit more, get a little bit more slice out of it towards the end of the flight. But a lot of times, this is kind of a backup. So, anywho. This is a backup. These are my two mains, and I go with whichever one feels the best that day. Onto my approach putter. This is a Nate Sexton Tour Series Firefly. Been seasoned in for getting close to about 10 months. I've used this on tour all year. This kind of takes the place of my old really beat KC that unfortunately got a crack, my old pinky. Typically I'll throw this with a little bit of anhyzer and it'll turn over and then glide out to flat and just move on that line. It's exactly what I want out of it. I use this inside about 220 feet. I don't really bump it up past there because I can go to the Rhino. These are my two Rhinos for the event. This is my more straight one. This is my newer one. They're both DX, they're both flat top. I use these exclusively for forehand approach shots, whether it be on turnovers or hyzer flip shots into the wind. These are good up to about maybe 280 feet, 300 feet. Depending on what the conditions are. Easily one of my favorite molds and one of the most underrated molds I think Innova makes. Just tried and true, consistent. They've got the little thumb track here on the top so I can throw it hard and I know it's gonna get on the ground. Great approach disc. Man, disc golf's getting bigger. Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy to see some of the crowds here in the States. It's just been really fun to, you can just feel that, like that jubilation when people have the bug. You know, I think there's a lot more people that have the bug now than ever before, especially after the pandemic. It's like people just got to get out of the house, and disc golf's got to be one of the best activities for the whole family to be able to go outside and do. So it's been fun to watch, man. So now we're on to mid-ranges. Shocker, I am throwing mid-ranges these days. First mid-range I'd like to introduce is the Croc. This is the second one that I've owned. I splashed the first one early and I was really bummed, but this team stamped one has just done me wonders. This is a fantastic disc under windy conditions. I usually throw this sidearm. I might throw it backhand, but typically I'll throw it forehand when I'm approaching something short to mid-range distance in a high windy situation. Something I can depend on. I can throw it to the left of my target. I know it's gonna bank there. It's got a really, really nice wing and just a flat profile. Not too much wonkiness happen with this disc. It's consistent, which I love. If I throw it right, it'll go where I throw it. If I throw it wrong, it'll show you. Second disc I'd like to introduce is an oldie but a goodie. These are both Coyotes. Obviously you've got your stock stamp champion Coyote right here. It's a 4 on the speed, and I would say that's pretty accurate, but it's a 5 on the glide, meaning that if you spin this disc, it's gonna do magical things. Obviously, I've had a little bit of magic on this one. I've aced with it. I don't put my ace discs away. I recommend you don't put them away either. That means that your disc is just starting to warm up. Super fun disc to throw. Little hyzer flips or flat shots that I need to go flat and then turn late. And then this is just a CFR Glow from, I believe, 2011. Really nice piece. Big thanks to the guy who gave me this disc. This thing's money. And the very last mid-range in my bag, another one thanks to Tom Embry. This is a first run champion shark. Nice flat profile. This is the disc that Innova recommends every beginner start with, is a shark. And I'd have to agree. You know, if thrown flat, this disc flies fairly straight. This Champion model has just a little bit of overstability, which I love for my power. I just, you know, I hit it hard on the angle I want. I know it's gonna fly there and just fade gently. This is just, I can't believe more people don't throw this disc. I have another one that's a backup, that's more of a stock stamp, and it did the same thing. Go get a sharp. Don't listen to your friends that are throwing all these other mid-ranges. You don't need it. You need a sharp, and you need it now. Right now in my career, I want to focus on where I'm going to play well and where I'm going to have the best impression. I wouldn't say impact because that can be kind of a detrimental word. But I think making a good impression through the sport and playing places that suit up my strengths and not going places that I don't think suit my strengths. Okay, now we're going to go to the fairway drivers. Taste the rainbow. Well, as you can see, I've got a lot of fairway drivers in here. A lot of people ask, why is that? Well, this was the fast disc when I first started playing, so I really got used to cycling these discs through my bag. One that would flip, one that would go straight, one that would be more overstable. But now I've got a nice little plethora of molds that I can choose from using that structure. So I think the mold that people know me most for, that is the Eagle. 7-speed, one of Innova's best molds. Right here I've got two. This is a 10-time pre-CE Champion Edition disc. So prior to them making the Champion Edition, they made these 10 times and they were just almost indestructible. So Innova decided they'd make a whole new plastic with all of their molds. So this is the earliest remnants of Champion Edition. Great mold, nice and flat, something I can pop on forehands that'll maybe drag a little left and come back, or on backhand it'll just go basically straight and then hook. Now on to a lot of people's new favorites. This is a Champion Edition Eagle. This is a 2015. Nice flat top. Found this one in Estonia. Actually, Philo picked this one up for me off of the shelf over at our friend's Spot Disc Sport. So big thanks to Philo for spotting this one out. Great disc, 175. This is more of a bulkier edge than these older ones. So what I can do is I can just throw these a little harder. They have a little bit more of a beefy shoulder. So I can really crunch on this disc and it's gonna hold its stability. It's not gonna flip over. It'll just hold where I put it for a long time and then fade. There's another Eagle here. The Masters Cup Special, 2nd generation Ching Eagle. This is DX, this predates the Champion Edition era. This is Roger Elliott's. Thank you, Roger, we miss you. Nice and overstable. If you get a nice close up of this, there's a nice shoulder and then a flat. So this shoulder makes this disc really overstable. It's got a high wing. I use this for rainy conditions. If it really gets nasty out there, you get a bunch of grip out of this disc and something you can depend on. I mean, we're talking rain-soaked symphonies out here. Be writing songs with this disc. People are gonna be jealous you have one of these in your bag. Like a fine wine, the 2019 Tour Series Eagles just gets better and better with age. This thing is money. Started out pretty overstable. Now it's just my hard-throwing flat driver that goes left. This one's gonna see a lot of work this week. The Tour Series has been slightly different every year. I really like the 19s. Super fond of the 21s. This year's came out. I don't have one in the bag this week. I threw it into a Mando sign, okay? And it ripped it pretty good. It was a bad shot. I'm not happy about it at all. So I've had to make some adjustments to the bag, but I've been loving the 2021s. Big thanks to everybody that has gone out and purchased one. You guys are awesome. I've been loving hearing the feedback and just, I mean, the aces that people are getting with them, it brings my heart joy, so thank you guys. I have 2 different Firebirds in the bag this week, potentially 3 depending on the conditions. Old Star Firebird, pre-flight number, bread and butter. Almost flies like an Eagle nowadays because it's been seasoned in so well, which I really like. The only difference between this and maybe the Eagle is gonna be its wind threshold. Now, if the wind kicks up, I can throw this and it'll act a little bit more like my Eagle than my Eagle would. My Eagle will wanna flip over, whereas this beat up Firebird still has that strong bottom edge, so it'll hold in the wind. And here I have a Champion Edition. Got this from my buddy Cliff. He'd been holding on to it for years. This is a great run. Nice 2013 Champion Edition, nice and stiff. Not much to say about this one, just tried and true. Point and shoot, it'll fade. Get yourself a Firebird. Firebird's one of the best discs. You gotta get one. If you don't have one, go get one now. You're gonna need it. And on to the 9-speed fairway drivers. This is a disc that maybe a lot of guys haven't heard about. This is an Innova molded disc put out by Millennium. It's called the OLF, the Orion Long Fade. Something that goes really straight and just flies maybe 60 feet further than my Eagles do, 80 feet further. I throw this at, maybe about 430 feet and in. Really nice, consistent piece. Now I've got two different ones. That's because they're a different run, and the Champion style plastic is much more overstable than this swirly star plastic. So basically, this is the one I use in the wind, and this is my calm conditions one. Nice hyzer flip, might turn over just a little, comes right back. Two Thunderbirds. These are for little more windy situations where I won't use the OLF. 3X World Champion models, which they're just a little bit older. I like this flat top that they have. They're not as domey, they're not super overstable. Something that'll fly for me and then finish. I can also tilt these up and throw them on nice gradual turnover shots and let them fade. Y'all see that? Iron leaf. Tried to get me with that one. So now we're on to the Roadrunner, obviously one of my favorite discs, my signature model from Innova. This is just your all-around piece. You just have a nice dome to them. I feel like this is gonna be a huge, huge advantage out here at Winthrop if I need a roller. It's 170 and it's got a nice dome, so this will go a long, long way. Get me into the zone. Now here's my traditional, I would say traditional, the one I throw a lot more, which is my Star Roadrunner. This is a great roller. This is perfect for hyzer flip-ups through the woods. You can basically do whatever you want with a Roadrunner. I mean, you can throw it on sidearm, you just gotta be gentle with the wrist rolling, forward. That's the big key with the Roadrunner. This disc goes forward. So I try to take a lot of that lateral movement out and just play linear, a little hyzer flip, let it stand, and then maybe at the end it'll just gently turn right. Fantastic disc, go check out a Roadrunner. Yeah, a lot of mistakes that I see beginners make are just throwing discs that are too fast and not focusing on their technique, more like focusing on power and just throwing hard. I mean, if you really want to get good at the game, then you have to develop your technique and then develop your power in. With younger kids, they can kind of do that very quickly, where things just time up and they learn to kind of like sponges with a lot of the newer players that are maybe getting up there in age. Focus on your technique first, work out those kinks, and then build in the power. Now we're on to the high-speed drivers. I don't have too many in the bag this week. I'm gonna keep them safe. I'm going with the Falcon from Millennium. This is the Run 1.2. Nice little dome in it. Throwing this out on hyzer, letting it stand up, burn and turn, getting maximum distance out of it. I would say this disc, Destroyer top with a Shrike bottom, really, really fast disc. Goes a long, long way. Check one out. Next I have a Star Boss. 2013 Star Boss. Nice little dome to it, gradual dome. This is my ultra long range driver in most situations. Nice workhorse disc. Pretty neutral, not very overstable. When thrown at high speed, it'll bend up just a little and hook. Now we're on to one of my favorite discs. This is the Scorpius. Based on the Destroyer mold, when they retooled it for that guy 7 years ago. He changed the disc a little bit, and then this old Destroyer mold was subletted to Millennium. So these are kind of like the Avery 3 lines or the Avery 2 line Destroyers. Not as overstable as some of the new stuff, which seems to work with my arm speed a little bit better. I've got 3 different runs. This is the first run. As you can hear, it's super pop top, very nice disc. If you ever find those old SDSs, this is about, I think, the closest to an SDS Destroyer that you're gonna find. Next one, I think this is like, I don't know, the experts will tell me better. This might be like a 3rd run. Bottom stamp, just an absolutely perfect disc. I use this a lot on forehand, backhand turnover shots, sidearm pop-up turnover shots, super long range weapon. And lastly, I have my 1.9 Swirly Scorpius. This is my overstable workhorse. I mean, there's no difference between this and a Destroyer. I mean, this run especially, this 1.9 run, I mean, it might as well be the same thing. I've got multiple Destroyers in my car right now that are waiting to go in if this one splashes, but the way it's flying, I don't think it's gonna splash. At least I certainly hope not. This is the one that I run the gambit with. This is like the live by the sword, die by the sword disc for me. And I just love it. go pick up a Destroyer or a Scorpius. If you've got a powerful forehand or backhand. These are discs that have become a staple in disc golf, and the disc that pretty much every other company has tried to emulate or mold after, so go grab one. I think that about does it for the discs. Introducing the bag, this is the Upper Park Rebel. Fantastic bag. My friends over at Upper Park, I've been sponsored by them for about 7 years. Got your little mini pocket, got my girlfriend's mini, brings me luck. Now in my cold clask, I've got the new Innova canteen. I love this thing. Got that sweet little sticker on there. Got my Kona sticker. And obviously, I've got my Pit Viper stickers, a couple of my favorites. Every sticker has a place here on the water bottle, and it's just important to, not convolute this beautiful water bottle with a bunch of silly stickers, I see guys just throwing stickers on anything. These have all had a plan. I had a game plan I put in place for this water bottle, and things are holding true. I mean, it's nice. I love that little straw action too. You don't have to sit there like a goon, and, like I'm playing a party game, And you just sit here and drink it. You don't have to like go up and like spill it all over my body. How many of you guys leave a comment if you have spilled water on yourself in a tournament? Embarrassing situation. I've also got my Y-Dry chalk bag. Unfortunately, this company's not in business anymore, but these are the best bags. I've got one of those fresh, ready to go. Also, pro tip of the day. And let me know in the comments if you have done this before. I know a lot of guys go out and get sticks or rocks or sand or whatever from their local course. I usually choose a rock. I find a nice rock that fits in my hand. Rocks take the moisture out of your hands. So if you're ever without, a dry bag or you need it, go find a rock. It'll pull the moisture right out of there. Get you that nice little coarseness. Everybody loves a towel that costs a quarter. I'm a homemade trail mix. No peanuts. Come on. And we got pretzels in there, some almonds, salted almonds and raw. We've got some cashews, some of those good fats, macadamia nuts. Some essentials for the course. Well, this Precision Pro, borrowed this from a friend. Very good traditional golfer and disc golfer. He says this is the one, so we'll put it into action today. This one reads in yards, meters, and feet. I don't know anything about it, actually. My buddy just gave it to me. But I just love it. It's Precision Pro, right? I'm like, that's like me, Precision Pro. I love it. Yeah, I mean, that basically concludes my In the Bag. I want to give a big shout out and thank you, and my gratitude to Innova Champion Disc for having me here. I love playing disc golf. I played for 28 years. I can't wait to keep playing. Big thanks to you guys for watching. Stay tuned, throw Innova.